Welcome to the webinar on yoga organized by Rewadi Obstetrics Society, Sevagram Varda Obstetrics Society, Women Doctors Wing, IMA Rewadi, and NKP Salve Institute of Medical Sciences and Research Center. This forms part of the knowledge sharing initiative of Jackson Pal. On behalf of Jackson Pal Pharmaceuticals Limited, makers of cell protector Lycoret to boost the immunity, Crampoff tablets of magnesium bisglycinate for relief from leg cramps, and Narikel tablets of calcium citrate, malate, vitamin D3, and folic acid. I am Dr. Vipin Tyagi along with my teammates Dr. Deepika Chabra and Mr. Amit Saxena. Thanks convener Dr. Seema Mittal for organizing this webinar. Dr. Seema Mittal is Director Lalita Memorial Hospital Infertility Center, Rewadi, Infertility and Endoscopy Specialist, past President ROGS, and Chairperson WTWIMA Rewadi. Welcome all the esteemed faculty present with us today. We thank ICOG for the accreditation of 1 ICOG point to all attendees of this webinar. Welcome to all attendees. Please post your queries by text in the Q&A box to be answered at the end. Please note this webinar is streaming on Facebook Live and the recording will remain on Jackson Paul's YouTube channel for reference and promotion. I will now request Dr. Seema Mittal to kindly initiate the session.
I'm really happy to see all the faces, and I really miss on that 5 minutes which I spent on getting connected from other device. So, friends, as we know, yoga is the ancient practice and it's Indian origin and almost 5,000 years old. But surprisingly, we have not been using it into our practice. And of late, now we know that it has got so many benefits. Whenever there is any transition, say it's adolescent or it's menopause or pregnancy, it has got miraculous effect on all. And now since the evidence is getting collected and we know very well that it helps, so we have these wonderful speakers with us for whom this is not a profession but a passion, and they have been working not only the national but the international platform. And I'm really happy and excited that we are getting this opportunity. Thanks to Poonam ma'am for getting that start and putting it in my brain that we must do some webinar on this. Thank you, Poonam ji. So I'm sure that once we hear from you all, we would be practicing it in day-to-day life, and it will be of immense benefit to our patients. Because as I'm into meditation for more than I think 15 years, and now I know when medication and meditation are together, the results are dramatic, not only for the patient but for the doctor also, who has to go through so much of stress. And before I start, I am profoundly delighted to take this opportunity to welcome two lovely, lively legends, our guest of the evening, Dr. Ragini Agarwal. Ma'am is, we just cannot talk about her because that will take the whole webinar for her achievements. She's been the president, vice president for our Foxy No Zone. And her dynamic personality cannot match with anyone. And it's a blessing to have you with us. And may I request Dr. Ragini to bless us and
Thank you, Seema. Thank you so much for this invitation to a wonderful program, Yoga and Adolescence. Namaskar aap sabko, to everyone who is here and all delegates who are sharing this platform today. Preeti, I'm seeing you also. So the only thing which I want to say when we talk about the yoga to anyone, we think of the yogic exercise, weight reduction, and some flexibility. But is it really we are defining the yoga? No. Yoga is something where it is a great philosophy. There's something behind us. It is to join the individual consciousness to the universal consciousness. And it is something very deep. It is a way of living. And this is what Adi Guru has given as a knowledge to the Saptarishi. And adolescence is the best time to introduce, if we can introduce this philosophy to them, really our world will be changed. With these words, I will hand over to you, Seema, to continue. We are here to listen all the esteemed faculty who are here to join us. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time today.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. We are really blessed to have you with us. And friends, we have with us Dr. Preeti Kumar. And Dr. Preeti Kumar has made motherhood safe not only for females in India, but her all her programs are now reaching the foreign countries also, and she's become now a global leader in our eyes. And her cap is, I think, it's overdone with feathers. Her Vistara project, her Jeevan Dhara, endless projects and programs, and with such passion and empathy, she does it. And we also learn a lot from her. It's really wonderful to have her here for this evening. Over to you, Dr. Preeti Kumar.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you so much for your kind and generous words. I'm really so blessed, having Dr. Ragini Agarwal and Dr. Poonam Shiv Kumar. Both of them are like my mentors for me, and I really love them a lot. And as you said, Dr. Poonam Shiv Kumar is really a bundle of all the energy and all the ideas, because she's also a guiding force for me in the Safe Motherhood Committee activity. Thank you, Ragini ji, for always being there for us. Thank you for your guidance and support. First, I'll not take much time, Seema. I really want to congratulate you the way you take the Rewari OBGYN Society forward. And I must say the Haryana OBGYN Society as such under the leadership of Dr. Ragini, it's really commendable, because I'm watching you for last 1 year or so. So you are doing amazing work, and I really want to congratulate Dr. Rewari and Sevagram Varda Society, because Poonam ji has taken over as president, and of course IMA Women Wing and NKP Salve Institute of Medical Sciences. And the topic selected, as Dr. Ragini has just now mentioned, is really very useful for today's life. But the only thing is, I want to really hear from Mrs. Sandhya. She's going to speak on yoga and stress in adolescent. What I find is, in practice, it is very difficult to convince adolescent for yoga and meditation, because that is the main problem. We talk a lot about it. The elders, the young girls, and you can convince them. But for the adolescent, it's very difficult to convince them for the yoga and meditation. So I'm really looking forward for a wonderful session today. And thank you so much, Seema, and may God bless you, and may you achieve all great heights and do wonderful in your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Your words mean a lot to us, and we really look forward to the day when you are leading us all. Thank you so much. And before I invite, I would like to introduce the person who has really watered the saplings which were planted in Sevagram from time to time. So I go back to year 1991, and since the time we joined MD Gyne, and Poonamdi was always there. She will plant the trees at the right time and then water it time to time and prevent it from all the hassles. So we are really obliged, and it's always a pleasure to have Poonam Devi with us. And I really feel all gynec doctors should have a senior like her, because when I hear from all the residents that, oh, we have such horrible seniors, and I always remember Poonam Didi. She will take, somewhere things will go wrong, and she will go and present to ma'am as if, it was her fault and not ours. Thank you, Poonam Didi, for being with us, and over to you to start this session.
Thank you, Seema, for all those memories. It's a pleasure to have Dr. Preeti and Dr. Ragini here. And it's the topic, when we thought about it, was, we both discussed quite a bit about it. And, yoga is not only nationally and not only limited to India now, it's all international. So we really thought that we are going to really do something about it. And in Sevagram, as Dr. Anuradha was there, and we realized that postpartum exercises made a lot of difference. And also there were some antenatal exercises which she was prescribing, and they were really coming out with a lot of normal births. The women who was totally for a cesarean section, and she suddenly said that no, she would go. Then we realized that it has something to do. So we started thinking about it, and thank you to you, actually, who agreed for this, and we could come up with this particular webinar. So I think I would introduce Mrs. Sandhya first. Yeah. So when I talk about Sandhya Chandrasekhar, first thing is that she's a family, and she's a wellness consultant and life coach at Hyderabad. She did MBA in marketing from Lucknow University, and she has PG certificate course on psychological counseling from Christian Counseling Institute, Vellore, India, with practical training in Vellore. She has several certificate courses in life coaching and Chinmaya Mission from 2007, and plus she's going on doing all advanced training till 2019 she did. At present, she is pursuing PhD in life management based on philosophy of Vedanta. And presently, she is a psychological counselor and wellness consultant with a specialization in dealing with teenage child-parent relationship. I think that's something very important. And as she has that background, we really wanted her to talk about this. And there's so much more to talk about her. In October 2020, she was awarded MS Signature Award, which is actually a very prestigious award, which is given for phenomenal leadership. And she got it mainly for yoga and Veda, with sexuality for imparting the Indian traditional values in youth. So, Mrs. Sandhya Chandrasekhar, your time now.
Namaskar to everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind and Jai Bharat. Of course, as Poonam has told that this is something, yoga being the key word today. So we have to talk a lot about it. Already she has introduced, so I don't want to talk about myself. And I'd rather, but first of all, before I do that, I just want to let me express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Deepti Chhabra and Dr. Seema Mittal and Dr. Poonam for arranging this webinar on yoga and its values. I would also like to express my gratitude to all the panelists for participation and propagating yoga. And I'm sure when all the doctors include yoga in your daily practice, whatever you practice, if you include yoga in it, I think we can eliminate both the physical and mental ailments to a large extent. And here I want to say a small prayer. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Everyone should have good health and happiness with kind and compassionate nature, and no one should suffer, and let peace prevail on all of us. This is a short prayer, and it talks all about health and wellness and well-being. So we have so many eminent speakers. Ragini, Dr. Ragini has also mentioned that it's an ancient yoga is so many thousands of years old, and it's very old. All the other people have told so many things. So it is going to be a continuation of how I'm going to express what I have to say. So first of all, whoever is listening, I want all the youngsters, whoever registered, who are listening, please put your mobile on the silent mode. Pay a lot of attention, because you'll get answers to many of your questions and solutions to many of your problems as well. But it's a matter of how you pay attention. It is very, very important now. So we'll talk about adolescence. This adolescence, is what? So I am thinking, what exactly is the phase which we go through? See, youngsters are going through the toughest phase of their life. When the world and society seems like your enemy, even near and dear ones fail to understand you, where peer pressure is at its peak, finances are limited, parents are a huge obstacles, mind craves for parties and outings, emotions are having a field day, ripping you apart, and body is bent upon exploring sexualities, and studies are demanding their own pound of flesh. ऐसे में बंदा क्या करे? पूरी दुनिया कैसे नजर आती है? दुश्मन सी नजर आती है. The whole world like that. And now, when sometimes when the extremes go a little further, it just leads to suicidal tendencies as well. Okay, I'm painting a very, very morose picture. So let's say that there is hope, there is happiness, there is joy, love, affection, caring and sharing. All I have to do is to look for it. But youngsters today are searching at wrong places. Even if they find it, it is very, very short-lived, does not last long. All of us want long-lasting happiness and peace. And long-lasting is the key word here. So let me stress on again on long-lasting, because this is connected to mental health. Now comes a question. Are we ready? Are we ready for it? Are we geared for it? Are we prepared for it? Each youngster has to ask this question, and the honest answer will be no, I'm not ready for it. So let's prepare ourselves, bring in the qualities, the strength of character, refinement of personality to receive this precious gift of peace and happiness. International Day of Yoga was 21st June. The whole world celebrated it. The Western world has accepted and benefited by following it, whereas we in our country just don't have faith and belief in it, and do not even know that it can bring about the transformation. The youngsters are bent upon following the Western way of living in clothes, food, music, festivals, live-in relationship, etc. But now I appeal, now when the West is coming, adapting yoga, I feel you copycats, all the youngsters should also adopt yoga and bring in and be proud that you're following the West, because the West is also going to follow yoga and reap its long-term benefits. Long-term. यहाँ पे Western culture इस हद तक बच्चों में छा गया. I'll tell you a small example. एक काले कलूटे भयानक चेहरे एक रात कपड़े पहने हुए एक झुंड दरवाजा खोलते ही दिखा. मैं डर गई, सोचने लगी कि क्या हो रहा है, कि पीछे से एक आवाज आई, ट्रिक्स आर ट्रीट. तब मैं समझी माता ठनका कि ये तो हैलोवीन है. ये आ गया हैलोवीन कहां से, जबकि हमारे कितने फेस्टिवल्स हैं, so many are there, but I've never seen any children coming forward, dressing up or doing something. ये है Western culture की total छाप, and I just wanted to give an example that how children are totally westernized. Of course, here I think I have to take a little bit, put a little bit blame on the parents also, because the culture has not been seeped by them when they were small, the formative years. Now, the whole world is looking towards yoga. And what is yoga? We can ask the question, what exactly is yoga? It's a union of body and mind. The most problematic aspects, body runs in one direction, mind runs in the other. What is body? I can say, you can say mass of flesh and bones, or garbage in or garbage out. And what is emotion or mind? It's a bundle of feelings, thoughts, all kinds of different negative, positive feelings. It's filled with that. Now, what is I? Here you see, this I aspect has never been explored. And Vedanta goes deep into the I, and it says that this I is the one which differentiates between animal and human being. So what is this I? This I is the intellect, the power of decision making. Power, I call it the power, क्योंकि जानवरों के पास control नहीं होता. But we humans, we can easily control, change, and channelize the thought process. But to tell you the sad truth, it is never, this I is never utilized. And a small research, that brain is filled with neurons and protons and so many things, right? But 7 billion population agar hai, to hardly 10% of the people who really use this eye or the intellect, and the capacity to use this intellect according to the situation. Most youngsters, it is almost zero. Why? Because the eye, now I'll tell you the reason, the eye gets activated by doing yoga, the intellect. And again, a sequence of thoughts. Eye is what? Again, a sequence of thoughts. And it is a house of decision making. So we all have BEI, body, emotion, and intellect. Body is beyond our control. Emotions is beyond our control. Intellect does not exist. The B and M, through yoga, the intellects get activated. With a bright intellect, one can manage almost any situation. In adolescence, emotions come as a tsunami. They are the most difficult to manage. And yoga helps in balancing the emotions through the intellect. Now, this intellect I have spoken about in every individual, it's all, I should have put this slide before. Anyway, so yoga helps in synchronizing the BE and activates I, and with a bright intellect, situation can be managed. And I've already told that yoga helps in balancing the emotions through the intellect. Now, coming to the stress part. Stress. When you are not able to deal with a particular situation, it is called a stress. Again, let me stress, stress is an emotion. It is a thought. I cannot manage. I am stressed. It is a thought. This thought comes as body and emotions are disbalanced. The ultimate villain is the thought. Now comes a question. How do I deal with my thought process? Yoga is the key word. What exactly? Yoga is not just stretching on. Yoga is a series. Like, let me give an example how you take a pill. When you take a pill, it's a chemical composition. It goes to the body, activates certain nerves, and so many other aspects you all doctors know. Same yoga also through a series of diet and exercise and asanas. It regulates and disciplines your nervous system, circulatory system, digestive system, reproductive system, excretory system. And when all these have been streamlined, it is called physical fitness. How about the mind? Now we are thinking that, okay, we can discipline the body through various asanas, diet, etc. What about the mind? The thoughts, how do we discipline it? Through the exercise of breath, which is called pranayama. Here, the concentration is on breath, regulating it, which leads to different benefits. The main being discipline of thoughts. As total concentration is required to do pranayama, the thoughts are streamlined towards the breath, the prana shakti. By constant practice, the thoughts start directing the breath. How much, how long, and so on. And you become conscious of your breath. Otherwise, we just take our breath for granted. We don't even know that every moment or every second I am breathing. Now, let me talk about meditation. What is meditation? Meditation is a pure science. The breath is regulated by thought. So you become conscious of your thought. And here comes what is meditation? It is a single pointed direction of thoughts, leading the thoughts to focus on a particular aspect of the situation. The power of now, this moment. So when doing the asanas, we have to completely concentrate on that particular aspect of the body, and then we can reap the benefits of meditation. Otherwise, we do not even know that in a particular day, thoughts which are controlled when we do meditation are almost 80 to 90,000 thoughts which are generated in a particular day. And it's a different matter that most of it is garbage, which is never deleted, leading to a lot of mental issues. Every phone, tablet, or any digital device has got delete. It gives a warning, please delete files, otherwise it's going to crash. What about our thoughts? Thoughts, the garbage, is never deleted. Through meditation, this is what is pointed out, that thoughts are lead. Through meditation, thoughts and breath are disciplined. And this discipline is what called being aware of your thoughts. The awareness of thought is the intellect, the most important of the BEI, the house of decision making. And when, how much is the requirement of the body, what, when, and how much is the requirement of emotion is called being aware of your thoughts. This formula, if anyone starts applying to every given situation, not only stress, other type of irrelevant emotions will also start flying out. So, yoga and meditation is a slow, steady practice requiring patience, faith, belief. And to reap the long-term benefits, let us take inspirations from our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, who extolled the virtues of yoga on International Day of Yoga on 21st June, few days back. Here are some excerpts. Yoga is an endeavor to ensure that we focus on fitness as well as wellness. It strengthens the immune system through the breathing exercise. Regular practice of yoga improves mental health. Yoga helps people to muster confidence and strength to fight the pandemic. Yoga goes to the root cause of disease, leading to healing. Yoga brings us in touch with our inner strength and protects us from all sorts of negativities. Yoga gives us a happier way of life. Yoga leads to fusion of ancient science with modern technology, and yoga has a solution for everyone. This is what our Prime Minister Modi ji has told, and in fact, he has given all the goodness and virtues of yoga in these sentences. And I sincerely appeal to all the youngsters who are listening to today's program to bring the practice of yoga in day-to-day life. It's like all, you go to the gym, you believe in gym, but yoga has got long-term benefits. And the solution to why the youngsters are not doing it is that yoga has to be practiced from a very young age. It should be introduced in schools so that children benefit from it, and automatically the teenagers, because of the benefits, because they look good, because their body is going to be good, they'll continue doing yoga. But introducing in the adolescence, definitely, like I said, it's a West. And if the West does, so they do. So now the West is doing, I'm hoping all individuals will be taking up, adolescents especially, will be able to take up yoga. One caution, yoga has to be learned from a certified yoga practitioner, as there are a lot of do's and don'ts. Last few words, it is my sincere appeal to all the doctors who are there present here as well as elsewhere, that please employ or engage a few thought trainers to change and channelize the thoughts of couple right from conceivement to at least 3 formative years of a child. Mental health is very important. We need to have a future generation who have been trained to balance their body and mind to cope up with any situation. Once again, I thank all the doctors present over here, especially Dr. Seema Mittal, Dr. Deepika Chhabra, Dr. Poonam, and the other eminent personalities for giving me a patient hearing. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Namaskar.
Thank you, Mom. It was such an awesome presentation, and I really agree with you. because we have a saying, you know, घर का जोगी जोगड़ा, बाहर का जोगी सिद्ध. So anything from here goes to foreign, and it is, you know, made in England and made in America, and we are so, I mean, we get desperate to get it. So I really hope that there is some awakening amongst all of us. And Halloween is really becoming a bad trend here also. Rewari is a small place, but we have doctors over here who are having Halloween parties also, and it is at times, you know, disgusting and frightening. And schools, yes, of course, yoga should be there. And Poonam, these there. Poonam, ma'am, over to you.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much, Seema, and thank you so much, Sandhya ma'am, for such a wonderful talk. Actually, you know, making it clear what exact. Sorry for this, because probably there are some signal issues. So thank you very much for such an elusive talk. And what is very important in now or in this scenario is that, you know, we are seeing that adolescents, everyone, if you see in one family, you will see that people or youngsters, they talk about stress. I still remember we used to be four of us, and I don't remember we ever talked about the stress to our parents and said that, okay, we are having stress or something like that. It was as if a part and parcel of life.
Right.
But the growing families which are mostly nuclear, where, you know, you don't have too many people to talk, probably that has led to this kind of stress and a lot of issues in the adolescent. And I strongly believe that if right from the childhood this yoga is introduced in these schools, as Dr. Sandhya has said, so it keeps on going into the adolescence, and then it becomes your habit, and for sure it's going to make a difference. So thank you so much, Ms. Sandhya, for your wonderful talk.
Thank
Over
you.
to you, Seema.
Thank you, Poonam ji. Thank you, Sandhya ji. Actually, what we learn, I mean, think of yoga is, you know, it's like body postures and pranayam, but it is more than what it is. But we have to know it should be inculcated in all school syllabus, and we strongly recommend it. And just wanted to introduce to my audience our favorite person behind this webinar, Dr. Poonam Shivkumar. She is presently the professor and head of OBGY MGMS Sevagram Vardha, and she is the president of Sevagram Society, and she is the principal investigator for PPH bundle, that is postpartum hemorrhage bundle project in Harvard University. And she's a TAG member, and she's resource person and expert for Government of India and Government of Maharashtra for national guidelines. And she's recipients of many awards, some of which include management of anemia, special certificate for project for Government of Maharashtra, best human service in CAD Pulgaon, and best doctor award by Lions Club. And she's given more than 126 lectures, presented papers, chaired international national conference, and her humble look says it all. So we were very happy to have Poonam. You have to stay till the end. And now I request Dr. Anita Khan ma'am. She is Dr. Anita Khan ma'am will be introducing Dr. Anuja. Dr. Anita Khan ma'am is the head of the department Asian Hospital Faridabad, and she's the most adorable senior, and she's the chairman and head department OBGY, and she's president IMS Faridabad. She's patron Faridabad Obstetric Society. So over to Anita ma'am to introduce the next guest speaker for today's evening. Over to you, Anita ma'am.
I'm really honored to be introducing Dr. Anuja. Dr. Anuja Vivek Bhalerao is Professor OB-GYN, NKP Salve Institute of Medical Sciences, Nagpur. She has a long teaching experience. She has done fellowship in urogynecology from USA. She has received the Best Teacher Award, the Best Research Project Award. She's faculty at national and international conferences, operating faculty in urogynecology in many conferences also, so many publications in national and international journals. She is also part of the WHO PPH bundle that Seema just talked to you about, and Dr. Poonam is there in it. She has had the best video presentation at AAGL, and papers at various national conferences have been presented by her. She has been the national cricket player. That is the best thing that I liked about her. And she has a 24-hour solo power flying to her credit. So from power flying to power yoga, she will be talking today about an important aspect of yoga. And over to you, ma'am, Dr. Anuja.
Good evening. Thank you, madam, for such kind words. At the outset, I want to thank Dr. Seema Mittal and the dynamic president of Varda Society, Dr. Poonam Shivkumar, for making me a part of this wonderful webinar on yoga, which in itself is a unique thing. Yoga, as we all know, is not only doing asanas, but it is basically a connection between the mind and the soul. It, as somebody said, it is a philosophy. It is a way of living. And I'm really very happy to be a part of this team. And I'm happy to introduce to all of you Dr. Anuradha Khandekar. Dr. Anuradha Khandekar, who is Joint Coordinator, Arogya Dham, MGIMS campus. She is BAMS from Kolhapur University and a postgraduate from Pune University with postgraduate doctorate research from New Delhi. She's got 15 years of experience in clinical practice of Ayurveda, a member of editorial board of International Journal of Indian Medicine. She's a life member of Integrated Medical Association Maharashtra branch. She's life member of Association of Ayurvedic Physicians of India. And it gives me great pleasure in presenting to you Dr. Anuradha Khandekar, who is going to enlighten us on a very important topic of yoga when it's practiced every day, will help us all in maintaining the normal physiology of pregnancy. Over to you, Anuradha.
I would like to thank organizers for giving me this opportunity to talk on this platform. I express my special gratitude to Dr. Poonam Verma ma'am, HOD and Professor, Department of Gynecology and Obstetrics, MGIMS Sevagram. When we kept proposal in front of her about yoga in pregnancy and yoga for women, she wholeheartedly accepted our proposal. She made things available for us. Though her busy schedules, she used to convince patients for yoga, and she is very cooperative. And under her dynamic administration, we started Yoga for Women in collaboration with Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at MGIMS Sevagram. So my topic name is Role of Yoga in Accepting Pregnancy as Normal Physiology. So this is a picture of MGIMS. We have started Yoga for Women in the Department of Gynae. This is our Arogya Dham Center of Alternative Medicine. This is the picture of Arogya Dham. We have 3 streams: yoga, naturopathy, and Ayurveda. We have all facilities for indoor, outdoor patients, and yoga hall, meditation hall, kitchen, everything. So let's start my presentation. Why yoga in pregnancy, need of the hour? As you know, woman undergoes many changes throughout her life. During adolescence, during pregnancy, motherhood, and menopause and old age, and so on. And as you know, in the past, women had to do many household chores around the house. So usually there was no need to do exercises separately to keep her body flexible. Nowadays, the things have been changed. Overall flexibility of muscles found to be reduced. There could be many reasons, because of education, studies, because of job, because of sedentary lifestyle. One needs to take separate time for exercises. Again, flexibility and strength of the muscle is more important for labor, as many muscles are used during childbirth. Hence, pregnant women should also do some simple household chores and yogic practices to keep herself strength and flexible. Why yoga? Because regular yoga practice can help women to balance hormones, develops emotional stability and mental clarity. Yoga cope with the physical stresses of pregnancy, prepare for childbirth, improves circulation, etc. Krishnamacharya, he was a yoga teacher, Indian yoga teacher, Ayurvedic scholar and healer. He is usually referred as a father of modern yoga. He said yogic exercises, since they are non-violent and non-fatiguing, are particularly suited to a woman and make her more beautiful and strong. Geeta Iyengar is also well-known figure in yoga around the world. She has trained many yoga teachers around the world. In her book, Yoga, a Gym for Women, she described yoga practice adapted to women with sections on yoga in menstruation, pregnancy, and menopause. She made variations in postures of yoga, specially designed in menstruation, pregnancy, and menopause. Yoga Journal survey in 1997 found that a little over 80% of readers were female. In 2003, the journal's advertising page reported 89% female readership. That means women loves yoga, and yoga is practiced more women than men. According to American Pregnancy Association, yoga increases strength and flexibility in pregnant women, help them with breathing and relaxation techniques to assist labor. Before going to role of yoga in pregnancy, one should know yogic concept of health and illness. According to Yoga and Upanishad, man has 5 sheets, 5 koshas, 5 bodies. They are Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. First and grossest is physical body. Annamaya Kosha is a matter of physical body, and it is not composed of just bones, blood, tissues, organs, but the entire structure of man has manifest and unmanifest dimensions. This physical matter in our personality is made up of 5 Mahabhutas: Prithvi, Jala, Agni, Vayu, and Akash. These Pancha Mahabhutas interact in the dimension through Annamaya Kosha. The Annamaya Kosha is nourished by food we take, and in Annamaya Kosha, illnesses shows up as a structural and functional deformity, leading to signs and symptoms. So Annamaya Kosha is a grossest body. Second is Pranamaya Kosha. It is life, energy body. Prana is the basic fabric of the universe inside our body and outside the body. Continuous harmonious flow of prana and energy to each and every cell of Annamaya Kosha is required. This prana flows through the nadis. Any increase, decrease, or stagnation in this prana or energy leads to impair the function of that particular cells or organ. So there are 5 pranas: Apana, Vyana, Samana, Udana, and Prana. These 5 pranas controls our neuromuscular functions of that particular areas or particular organs. Third is Manomaya Kosha. Manomaya Kosha is psychical body and is that is mind. Mind is defined as conglomeration of thoughts. And when these thoughts become intense or powerful, they start governing our actions against what is right and goes against the cosmic laws and leads imbalances. That is called Adi, Adi Bhautik, Adi Atmik, etc. Adi can be called stress. Prolonged stress percolates in the pranamaya kosha, thereby impairment in the supply of energy to the tissues, and thereby gives illness at Annamaya kosha. Vijnanamaya kosha is characterized by capacity to judge and discrimination, and is channelized towards gaining perfect health, perfect harmony, and according to the behavior of intellect. Anandamaya kosha is fifth kosha. It is a state where man is free from all his faculties like Kama, Krodha, Matsarya, etc. And he is free from all fears, and he becomes just bliss. So according to yoga, illness starts at Manomaya kosha. When there are likes and dislikes, or intense desires, intense anger, intense fears, they try to disturb pranamaya kosha. That is, flow of energy get disturbed. And as flow of energy get disturbed, the annamaya kosha gets illnesses. Any irregularity in energy or flow supply, human organs slowly fail to function. ये सिंपल उदाहरण यहाँ पे एग्जांपल में देना चाहूंगी, जैसे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक गैजेट्स में हमें पावर सप्लाई में इरेगुलरिटी आती है तो वो जैसे बंद हो जाते हैं, सेम एज लाइक वहाँ बॉडी में अगर एनर्जी सप्लाई में इरेगुलरिटीज आती है तो ऑर्गन स्टार्ट इस फंक्शन इम्पेयरिंग. So management of such ailments should correct it at all these levels, and yoga corrects imbalances at physical level, that is annamaya kosha level, pranamaya kosha level, and mind, psychical body. Here, yoga practices, that is kriyas and asanas, used to operate at annamaya kosha level. Pranayam, deep breathing techniques, works at pranamaya kosha level. Dhyan, Dharana, Samadhi are for Manomaya, Vijnanamaya kosha, and Anandamaya kosha. So physiological changes in pregnancy. In pregnancy, physiological changes affects every organ system in the body. Woman gains weight. There is respiratory discomfort like breathlessness, dyspnea. Cardiovascular changes like increased blood pressure, heart rate, pedal edema can be seen. Muscular and ligament laxity is there due to hormonal changes and fetal growth. Postural imbalances seen because of weight gain and fetal growth. Stress is accompanied by physical and psychological demands. So, role of yoga, asana, pranayama, and meditation. It is one experimental study. This study on neurohumor changes after a course of 3 to 6 months of yoga practices. This study shows marked reduction in acetylcholine in blood, indicating optimal level of it in brain. That means yoga balanced optimal level of acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter. Some yoga postures like Shavasana produce significant reduction in catecholamines in the blood, which reduces the sympathetic nervous activity. Catecholamines, dopamine, adrenaline, noradrenaline, these are catecholamines. Yoga helps to balance or maintain its adequate secretions. So here, catecholamines, acetylcholine, other hormones, you can correlate with energy. We can correlate with energy, that is pranamaya kosha. And this, if there is imbalances or increases in these secretions, catecholamines or acetylcholine, or decrease, or if there is any irregularity, leads to the illness at body level. So again, yoga helps lower stress hormones that compromise the immune system. Yoga develops awareness and control of posture during and after pregnancy by strengthening it. Upper extremity strength and lower extremity strength can be achieved for the demands of increased weight bearing. Yoga promotes and maintains safe cardiovascular and cardiorespiratory fitness with pranayama and dhyana. Here is one research study where 26 yoga postures were studied in pregnancy. And found the results are all 26 yoga postures were well tolerated with no acute adverse maternal physiologic or fetal heart rate changes. Another research study, prenatal yoga for back pain, balance, and maternal wellness, the randomized controlled pilot study. This study supports the possible benefits of prenatal yoga in reducing the overall symptom burden of pregnancy and improving the stability of a pregnant woman's child. This is mindful-based study, a systematic review on meta-analysis. The mindfulness as an outcome was assessed in 4 RCTs for which the pooled results show a significant difference in favor of the mindfulness intervention when compared to a control group. So which yoga asana should be practiced in first trimester? Shavasana, Virasana, I'm just quoting name here. Dandasana, Kati Chakrasana, Tadasana. These simple asanas can be performed in first trimester. Anulom Vilom breathing, that is Nadi Shuddhi Pranayam, can be done in first trimester. In all trimesters, Dhyana, that is meditation or focusing, for 15 to 20 minutes. In second trimester, Tadasana, Trikosanasana, Virasana, Upavishta Konasana, Kati Chakrasana. These simple asanas can be performed in second trimester. These are Sanskrit terminologies. Again, breathing, Anulom Vilom breathing can be done and Dhyana for 15 to 20 minutes. Yogasanas in third trimester, again Tadasana, Baddha Konasana, modified Shavasana, Setu Bandhasana, and Pranayam, Anulom Vilom breathing, Dhyana for 15 to 20 minutes. So one should follow some guidelines while performing yoga. Guide and focus on your breath during asanas, breathing, and meditation. Begin and release asanas with long and deeper exhalation. Inhale during holding phase. Asanas should be performed in a relaxed manner. So synchronizing asanas with breathing is important. It gives better results of yoga. These are some postures which we have practiced at the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology for pregnant women. This is simple asana. It is called a Shakti Sancharana. It gives strength to your neck, spine, chest. So respiratory function is improved and strengthening of the muscles of the neck and shoulder is improved. Second is Hriday Chakra Unmilana. This also strengthens your back, chest, and improves cardiovascular functions. This is simple Bhadrasana. It is done for strengthening muscles of pelvic girdle. This is Gomukha-asana. It is done for the strengthening of back muscles, whole spine. This is Utkatasana, Malasana. This is again for strengthening of thighs, legs, and perineum. These are simple yogasanas which we have practiced for strengthening of the whole spine. These are some stretchings can be done or can be done by pregnant women. This is the simple sleeping position in pregnancy. So here conclusion, the great Maharishi Patanjali quotes that changes can occur in genes and the environment in the whole human system by regular and sincere practice of yoga step by step. Yoga practices are non-invasive, economical, easy to perform, and culturally accepted. Thank you for patiently listening. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Anuradha. This was the most evidence-based study. Dr. Anuja, you have to say something about the talk.
Actually, I just wanted to say that it was such a wonderful evidence-based explanation of the role of yoga and maintaining the physiology of pregnancy. Anuradha, it was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
And it's really good to know that we have this naturopathy in all centers in Sevagram. Next time our stay will be for a week and not for 1 or 2.
Sure, ma'am.
So I request now Dr. Srekha Yadav, President, Rewari Obji Society. Thank you, Dr. Srekha, for being with us. And Dr. Srekha is a wonderful surgeon, and she's a postgraduate from Lady Hardinge Medical College, special interest in gynae surgery. She's done over 10,000 NDVH in 15 years. Over to you, Dr. Srekha, to introduce our next speaker for the evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Dr. Srekha.
Yeah, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you can be a little closer to your mic.
Yeah. It's my honor and privilege to introduce Dr. Nipa Mehul Shah today. And she is a great physiotherapist and a yoga instructor and has done a PG diploma in project management from University of Hyderabad. She is a certified yoga trainer from Kapila Maharishi Research Hyderabad Institute. She is a freelance physiotherapist and yoga instructor with special interest in cardiac, neurological, and geriatric rehabilitation programs and prenatal and postnatal care. She has taught yoga to over 750 students in Neuro School and over 600 students in Abroha International School. She is also a part-time physiotherapist in Fitness One Hyderabad Institute. She is a life member of Indian Association of Physiotherapists and has hobbies like drawing, craft work, and cooking and gardening. Today, she will be speaking about the different yogasanas in pregnancies to promote normal birthing process. And I think it is going to be very useful for all of us because off and on we are asked by patients what asanas and what exercises should we do to promote normal vaginal birth. And I'm sure we will be definitely benefiting from this talk from her. Over to ma'am, Dr. Nipa Mehul.
Good evening, everyone. And I'm very thankful to organizing committee for inviting me to this webinar. As we all know that yoga is an ancient Indian science involving asanas, pranayama, and meditation. Because of change in culture and values over a period of time, we adopted comfortable and sedentary lifestyle. As it is said, this journey is more important, that is 9 months of pregnancy is more important than destination. Prenatal yoga is a multifaceted approach, exercise that encourages stretching, mental centering, and focused breathing. Yoga word has been derived from Sanskrit word yuj, means union of body and mind. Trained body will condition the mind to accept and prepare for normal childbirth. There are various benefits of yoga, but before that, I would like to introduce you about chakras and how it is related in human body and how connection of the chakras with nervous system and endocrine system of the body. There are 7 chakras in the body. Starting from the base is a Muladhara chakra, which corresponds to testes and ovaries. As we go up, there is a Swadhisthana chakra, which relates to kidneys and adrenal glands. Above Swadhisthana is a Manipura chakra, which corresponds to liver, pancreas, gallbladder, and spleen. At the heart level, there is a thymus gland and it is called Anahata Chakra. As we go up, there is a thyroid gland and the parathyroid gland, which corresponds to Vishuddhi Chakra. And between two eyebrows, there is a pituitary gland, which is called Agnya Chakra. And at the tip of the head, there is a Sahasradhara Chakra called, or it is called the crown chakra, which is equal to pineal gland. Now, all these chakras is nothing but our endocrinal glands. Now, these endocrinal glands are innervated by the nerves, which are coming from the spine. So, sacral plexus is innervating the Muladhara Chakra, lumbar plexus innervating Swadhisthana Chakra, thoracic plexus Manipura Chakra, Anahata Chakra, and the cervical Vishuddha, Ajna and Sahasradhara Chakra. Now, and whenever we do yoga or any asanas or postures in yoga, we are stimulating one of these chakras. And in turn, we are stimulating the nervous system and vice versa. That is why after doing yoga asanas, one can feel good factor. Feel good factor comes after doing asanas and pranayamas because we are stimulating the nervous system in other way. This is how we can correlate chakras with nervous system and the endocrinal system. There are various benefits of prenatal yoga as it calms the mind and relieves stress, increases the strength and stamina, eases muscle tension, relieves muscle cramps and joint pains. It reduces the risk of depression, improves blood circulation, maintains physical and mental balance. But before doing prenatal yoga or before starting prenatal yoga, there are certain do's and don'ts. Mother-to-be should consult her gynecologist before starting her yoga sessions. One should learn and practice yoga under the supervision of certified yoga instructor. While attaining any posture, one should be knowledgeable about that one should avoid supine, prone, and inverted posture and asana, which require abdominal stretching and bending. Any posture which causes pain, fatigue, discomfort, or dizziness should be ignored. One should be cautious about not to overstretch joints and muscles since anyway joints get relaxed during the pregnancy. Session should be of moderate duration within one comfort zone and in a pleasant environment. That is, one should listen to their body, just not blindly do as it is said. Sufficient hydration is mandatory. Always with each asana's posture, deep breathing exercises are encouraged. One should refrain from sudden, jerky, bouncy, or high impact movement during practice of yoga. So, we should avoid postures like inverted postures like chakrasana, prone postures like a bhujangasana, which involves a lot of stretching of the abdominal muscles. Twisting asanas or stretching asanas like Ardha Matshendra asanas should be avoided. It is complete contraindication during the pregnancy. Now let us discuss trimester point of view, that what are the signs and symptoms in first trimester of the pregnancy. Yes, pregnancy is a time of good health, filling, pride and fulfillment. Intermixed with these good feelings are physical discomforts, emotional swings, and worries of responsibilities. One may experience nausea, fatigue, stuffy nose, pain, discomfort. All these are the signs of morning sickness. During this period, well-balanced diet with gentle asana which will help someone sail through pregnancy smoothly. Asanas in first trimester are designed to improve lung capacity, to gain strength and stamina. Some of these asanas are Vrikshasana, in which one has to balance on one leg, but if because of the fatigue, if one cannot balance, they can take wall support or chair support, which maintain good physical and mental balance. Parvat Asana also aimed with enhancing the lung capacity to improve body posture, to stretch shoulder and back muscles and reduce back pain. Konasana, the standing side bending, adds strength to the spinal cord, arms and legs, stretches lateral abdominal muscles, helps relieve constipation and leg cramps. Along with asanas and postures, pranayama is also introduced in the first semester of prenatal class. One of this is the Ekaswasa pranayama and Anuloma Viloma pranayama, which is called alternate nostril breathing. Pranayama aims at improving lung capacity and enhances oxygenation in the body. It has a calming and soothing effect on mind, relaxes body and promotes good sleep, and promotes psychosomatic rest to body. Few more additions in this are Brahmari pranayama, the bee breathing. It is a vibrating humming sound which relaxes body and has a calming effect on mind. Next is a Nadi Shuddha pranayama, which is also called alternate nostril breathing, which is done in a rhythmic manner. It enhances vital capacity of lung by encouraging lateral expansion of the lungs. Promotes psychosomatic rest to body and mind by balancing both Ida and Pingala Nadi, which in turn stimulates parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Along with this pranayamas, a few relaxation techniques are used to promote mind and body relaxation. By the time mother to be in second semester, morning sickness goes away, but few more symptoms like a back pain, constipation, leg cramps, swelling in legs and feet takes it all. Second trimester asanas are selected to maintain balance, improve blood circulation in body, stretching and strengthening of back, leg and arm muscles. Pranayamas are always introduced at the end of each session along with relaxation techniques to improve vital capacity of lungs. Some of these asanas are Vajrasana, which helps in digestion. In this, the legs are folded. But if one cannot do it in a folded position, they can stretch the legs with the breathing exercise. Utkat Asana also strengthens lower back, torso and leg muscles, improves strength and stamina, improves focus and concentration, improves breathing. Majari Asana, the one of the most important asana called cat and camel pose asana, in which one has to be in a quadruped position. With inhalation, there is the extension of the spine, and with exhalation, there is a rounded back. With this, it strengthens the spine, tones the abdominal muscles, help rotate baby from the posterior to anterior position during second stage of labor, and relieve pressure on mom's back. Few more as we discussed before, Konasana, all aim at strengthening the arms and leg muscles. Trikonasana and Virabhadra Asana are called balancing asanas. Since during pregnancy, center of gravity shifts anteriorly. So this balancing asana helps maintain balance, reduces back pain and stress, and provide pelvic stretching. Viparita Karani, the legs up the wall pose, is done in a supine position with a pillow or any support under lower back. Legs are always supported with a 120 to 180 degree of elevation. Here, one has to just perform ankle toes movement in order to reduce the swelling in legs and feet. One should not do this asana without any support or wall support. Here I can recollect one incident from prenatal class. An IT professional in her late 30s with 5 months of pregnancy had a severe back pain, swelling in legs, disturb sleep at night. She was unable to sleep on her back or sideline position. She used to sleep in semi-reclined position. Then she consulted her gynecologist, and then she was advised to attend prenatal class. We started with 20 to 30 minutes of regular walking, along with few stretching asanas, as we discussed before, Trikonasanas and Tadasanas and the Salvasanas and everything, followed by few breathing exercise called cat and camel pose, pelvic muscle strengthening, Brahmari pranayama, and relaxation technique called Yoga Nidra. Within 2 weeks of time, she got rid of her back pain. She felt much energetic and able to relax herself better. So definitely yoga postures are beneficial to those who have work pressure and not able to exercise. Along with this asanas, we always insist on doing breathing exercise and relaxation technique at the end of each session of yoga. The third trimester is a trimester which has a mixed feeling. Asanas here are selected not only to improve blood circulation, but also to stretch pelvic and thigh muscles and to strengthen back, legs, and pelvic floor muscles. One may feel shortness of breath, back pain, heartburn, swelling in legs and feet, and sometimes may complain of hemorrhoids and varicose vein. Most asanas in third trimester are designed to have a pelvic muscle stretching, improve stamina, and widens pelvic outlet. Those asanas are Baddha Konasana, the butterfly pose, and garland pose called Malasana. One of the most important asana here is a Setu Bandhasana, the breech pose. It involves pelvic tilt, which might even encourage a breech baby to turn into the head down position. There is no known risk to the mother or fetus found. It was found to be 89% effective by Dr. Disa Sosa. Worth a try if the fetus is in the breech position after the 7th month of pregnancy. Followed by Supta Baddha Konasana, works with the same aim of stretching the pelvic floor muscles. There is one more addition to this asana is a Kegel exercise, which can be done either in side lying or in a Supta Baddhasana position. It is also called pelvic floor exercise, which helps strengthen the pelvic floor muscles, which are the pubococcygeal muscles. It shortens and makes the second stage of labor easier. Prevention of urinary dribbling when coughing or laughing may prevent saging uterus later part of life. This exercise can be done in 2 or 3 variations. Flicks is one of the variations in which one has to contract pelvic floor muscles for counting of 1 or 2 seconds and then relax. This can be done 2 or 3 times in a day. Extended Kegel, in which one has to hold the contractions of pelvic floor muscles for 20 seconds or more and then relax. This can be done at the interval of 5 to 6 hours in a day. And one more addition here is the elevator exercise, where one has to imagine that pelvic floor muscle is like an elevator. Then one has to contract the pubococcygeal muscle, create tension in that muscle with the counting of 4, 3, 2, 1. And then slowly and progressively release the tension like a 3, 2, 1, and then the basement. That is the position we require during the labor time. Otherwise, one has to maintain the tone by doing flicks and extended Kegel exercise in side lying position or in a Supta Baddhasana position. Along with this exercise, few breathing exercise in the form of a pranayama, which increases coastal expansion of the lungs in the form of a Nadi Shuddha pranayama or a Brahmari pranayama or a Anuloma Viloma pranayama should be insisted in third trimester. At the end of all the yoga session, we insist on doing yoga nidra, called yogic sleep, for better relaxation of body and mind. Supine position gives a lot of discomfort in the last trimester of the pregnancy. One has to lie down in a semi-prone or a sideline position with pillows between two legs on pillow. Here we are going to use progressive relaxation technique in which trainer will give instructions to the mother-to-be to as relax as possible. She has to imagine that ray of light is entering through her forehead and spreading entire forehead. She's progressively relaxing the muscles of forehead, followed by muscles of the face, slowly going down to her shoulders, lungs, chest cavity, feeling the movement of lungs, moving down towards abdomen, feeling movements in abdomen, feeling the back and her spinal area, moving down towards the pelvis, legs, ankle, feet and toes. Thus, instructions are given to progressively relax one group of muscles and body part at a time. And in the end, mother-to-be is completely relaxed, calm, there are no thoughts in the mind, and she's in a deep sleep called Savasana or a Yoga Nidra or Prasantasana. There are few more techniques. One of them is a progressive tense release practice in which one has to hold and relax muscle at a certain time interval. Trainer will give instructions as you deeply inhale and make a tight fist, exhale and open your fist. She has to observe her breathing in a most relaxed position of Savasana. Other examples are like she has to inhale and tightly close her eyes, exhale and open her eyes widely. There are many such examples which can be incorporated with Savasana or Yoga Nidra for better relaxation of body and mind. Soothing music or any soothing music can be played in order to have a better relaxation of mind. So to end the session with the thought of well-being is more important than being well off. So as we discuss, prenatal yoga is a journey about being present with your experience. It's about honoring where you are in that moment. Thank you.
Very elaborated, Dr. Nipa. Thank you so much. This was the most relevant talk we had. And here and now, in the present moment, we should all be. And this art we have to learn because it is easier said than done. It takes lots of time. Whenever we're trying to be in present, we are always in future. So, Dr. Srekha, you have something to say about the presentation?
Yeah. It was a very nice presentation and in a very detailed way you expressed so nicely all pictures and personals. And
Thank you, Dr. Srekha.
Have you here, Dr. Nipa?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Seema.
Thank you, Srekha. So before we start our panel, and we have our worthy panelist, Dr. Anita Khan, ma'am. As I said, ma'am is the wonderful clinician and the head department at Asian Institute. And we have Dr. Alka Yadav with us, the ever smiling, adorable friend with who is spilling happiness all around. Dr. Alka Yadav is the senior consultant at Narnol, and she's our Foxy Lake president 2020. Then we have okay, we will have one video we have prepared, what Dr. Sandhya, Dr. Nipa, and Dr. Anuradha has said. So we have our yoga instructor. She has done the video for our pregnant patients. I think that will help. So we can play this video before we proceed to panel. Yes.
Hello everyone, my name is Mamta Sharma. I am a yoga instructor and naturopathy expert. आज मैं आपको best and easy yoga poses for all trimester during pregnancy बताने जा रही हूँ.
Ma'am, sound is visible?
Yeah,
Sound are you?
audible?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Audible?
Yes.
First trimester, mountain pose. Legs straight, ankles together, hands inhale, up, then straight, now exhale, down. It helps in straightening the spine and relieves back pain. Next is cow pose. Inhale, back up, then exhale, down. Inhale up, then exhale down. It improves blood circulation and should be avoided after 26 weeks. Next is standing forward bends. Inhale, hands up, then stretch, exhale, down. This is an exception as forward bendings are not usually advocated during pregnancy, but it is good for legs and back. Let's move to second trimester, warrior pose. This posture helps for straightening the whole body. Next है Vajrasana. ये आसन सभी डाइजेस्टिव प्रॉब्लम्स में हेल्प करता है. नेक्स्ट इज उत्थानासन. इस पोज में मिडिल बैक, थाइज, एंकल्स एंड यूट्रस आर एक्सरसाइज्ड एंड यू आर प्रिपेयर फॉर डिलीवरी. थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर, प्राणायाम और ब्रीदिंग एक्सरसाइज. It helps to relax and concentrate to focusing on rhythmic breathing. Next is Trikonasana or triangle pose. It eases digestive troubles and improve flexibility of the hips. It helps to relieve lower back pain and create space around the pelvis. Thanks for your patience and the precious time.
Deepika ji, can we have the questions and CVs of our panelists? We have Dr. Gagan Singhal. She is the hidden treasure, where we need to explore more and more to get the best out of her. She's senior gynecologist in Narnol, Dr. Gagan Singhal. Dr. Alka Yadav, senior most consultant, our president-elect Rewari OBGY Society 2022. And as I said, her smile is infectious and she's spreading happiness and she's a strong pillar of strength. So we start with our panel questions now. So we have all our experts also here. I think everybody will be answering. So first question goes to Anita ma'am. Anita ma'am, you have been into practice, I think, for more than now 3 decades or 3.5 decades. So, what is your experience with yoga? Are you recommending it to your patient, and does it actually help in building flexibility of pelvic muscles and bones, as has been recommended by all our speakers? Because to be honest, we have till date, at least I have not advised my patients to go for yoga. I tell them just simply walk during pregnancy. So, this is for Anita Khan ma'am.
Dr. Seema, thank you so much. Yes, I'm definitely advocating all my patients either to go for the antenatal classes, which are regular physiotherapy classes, or for yoga, but under the guidance of a professional, because doing yoga while watching it on YouTube or internet can definitely, sometimes they can pull their muscle and actually land upon bed. It can actually help the pelvic muscle flexibility, and not only for pregnancy. The names, so many of them they have taken, Tadasan, I mean, Vini Yoga, all these things are names to me because actually I have not learnt about yoga, but it can strengthen the pelvic floor muscles and relax the tight ones. So it helps actually in control of incontinence of urine, which can happen the second half of pregnancy or after delivery. And it also relieves, gets them ready, be prepared to take on the normal labor as it comes. And also beyond pregnancy, I have found that pelvic pain and bladder pain, especially in idiopathic bladder, it can really be helped by learning how to relax your pelvic muscles. Nowadays urogynecologists go out of the way to explain these things, and we normally tell people about Kegels. These are opposite to Kegels, and they really help a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. You are right. Till date, we were telling to all our postnatal patients to go for exercise, even the cesarean patients, but not prenatal. But I have taken a clue from here, and we are planning to start for all our patients yoga during pregnancy. And I really wish, it could have been there when we were pregnant, and my cesarean could have been avoided. So, next question to Dr. Gagan. Is there any role of this is the second question, Dr. Gagan.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, hello, Dr. Gagan, our hidden treasure. We need more time to spend with you once you are out of your family liabilities. So, will it help in fetal development also, yoga, as they are talking about the increasing circulation, posture? So, what do you think?
Yes, ma'am. I went through literature, and then there I found a research paper which was published in Journal of Ayurveda and Integrated Medicine. This paper was published in 2020, and it showed the effect of yoga on the indices of uterine artery in Doppler studies. This Doppler study on uterine artery, it showed that the indices like SD ratio, PI ratio, it improved significantly in the yoga group than the control group. And it also concluded that maternal complications like gestational diabetes, PIH were less, and the fetal complications as IUGR and oligohydramnios was significantly lower in the yoga group than the control group. So the paper concluded that yoga has a positive effect on improving fetal circulation, development, and reducing maternal and fetal complication, and can be used as an adjuvant therapy. So likewise, I stumbled upon 2, 3 more papers. So definitely it has a very positive effect apart from the maternal, but fetal outcome also.
Thank you, Dr. Gagan, for the most important inputs. We read the literature, and everywhere there is lots of mention about the good effect on IUGR, oligo, hypertension, diabetes. So this was a good take. And our next question is to Dr. Alka. Dr. Alka, you feel that body ache and pains, we have patients who come in preterm labor or otherwise pain, they keep on changing the doctor. And if the solution is that simple, then why not try this rather than putting on Duodlon, then analgesics, we give Meftal then this, then Buttram, then this. But you think that body aches and pains can be relieved by yoga? And
Yes, Dr. Seema, it has been my experience also, because most of the patients who are with threatened or with some sort of problem during the pregnancy, I've never advised complete bed rest to the patient. For me, bed rest has meant light work, and abstinence is more important in these patients where there is some problem of the threatened. but I have never advised complete bed rest means just lying on the bed and just taking full rest. Patient basically needs to relax. As Dr. Nipa has also quoted one example, that one of the patients who had very bad backache and all sort of problem, and she was relieved with yoga. So that has been there with, it has been found in many of the patients. Yoga is basically a physical relaxation and as well as mental relaxation. So pregnancy is basically a physiological condition. So if we take it all pathology, the patient is going to feel stressed and the things will aggravate. So basically we need to relax the patient either way, physically or mentally, both.
Thank you, Dr. Alka. Maybe your yoga has some contribution to your smile also, which is so encouraging and ensuring all the time. Thank you so much. Next question we have to Anita ma'am. Ma'am, how far yoga can help in building the stamina in a person?
Actually, stamina means increased endurance. Like ma'am just now said, not only endurance at physical level, at physiological and mental level also. So it better utilizes your breathing and oxygen intake, your breathing capacity increases, and also pranayam, anulom, vilom, they all will help you in all this. It will reduce your recovery time from pregnancy problems after delivery. It will maintain your balance. As we age, sometimes when we get up or we are walking, ऐसे लगता है like you're losing your balance. So yoga helps in that, and it is basically mind over matter. As you continue to do more, your muscles become more flexible, and you realize that your stamina and endurance of using the muscles is increasing. Yoga opens up your body, it increases your lung capacity. I will definitely still say that I recommend, and all of you should recommend, yoga for pregnancy, delivery, afterward delivery, and for all so many other ailments also.
Thank you, ma'am. And next question is for Dr. Gagan. It was a homework for her and me also. So just to recapitulate, because our speakers have spoken so well that we have no doubt that it should be implemented not only in our clinics but in schools also, and anywhere, everywhere, whosoever can do it. So we are left with very few questions, but just to share the views of clinicians, we have this panel. So, Dr. Gagan, what are the 8 arms of yoga which have been mentioned in literature?
Thank you, ma'am, for letting me know that.
Actually, not superficially. So I kept this question. I tried to remember, but I forgot. So I thought we keep it, and then again we remember again and again. So tell me, yes.
And thanks for enlightening me. And I enlightened my staff and my daughter also. These are the 8 arms of yoga. Number 1 is yam, that is control of mind. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. Second is niyam. Niyam means follow the rules, be very, very obedient. Niyam. Asan, postures. Fourth is pranayam, that is control your breathing. Fifth is pratyahara. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. Pratyahara, that is complete relaxation, complete relation. Sixth is dharna, that is attain consciousness. Seventh is dhyan, concentration and awareness. And fourth is samadhi, that is the state of absolute awareness.
Thank you, Dr. Gagan. So why we kept this question? Because we want all our audience to know that this yoga is not just doing some asanas. It is complete 8 arms. That is complete relaxation of body, mind, soul, and samadhi also. Thank you. So next question to Anita ma'am. This will be to Dr. Alka. What are the 3 main principles of yoga? Dr. Alka knows a lot about yoga now, I know.
Nothing like that, Dr. Seema. It was just because of this topic I had to explore more.
Exactly. We all had to do actually.
Actually, to be precise, there are 5 principles of yoga.
Yes.
Basically, 3 principles. What we talk about mostly is doing asana, pranayam, and that is shavasana. Basically, preparing for the yoga, then doing exercises, and then relaxation. But 2 more elements have been added, and that is proper diet. That is sattvic bhojan we talk about is more important for the yoga. We always say तामसी and राजसी भोजन जो है वो सब लोगों के लिए अच्छा नहीं होता. और योगा के लिए तो अगर आप अपने योगा का मतलब एक नियमित मतलब you have a principled lifestyle, basically, that you have to follow. And the fifth one is a positive thinking and meditation. This has also been included in one of the principles of yoga. So basically, there are 5 principles.
So, right, I think we end with our questions here, because how are the yoga postures helpful in pregnancy? We have discussed. Anita ma'am, you can add anything to it, so then we can conclude the panel.
I think I'll reiterate that it reduces the stress and anxiety, increases the strength and flexibility of muscles, it improves sleep, it decreases back pain, nausea, headache, shortness of breath, and it connects you to your baby. Because you relax, then you can feel more closer to your baby and enjoy your pregnancy. Be positive.
Right, ma'am. I can see that expression on your face. So with this, we would like to conclude this session here, and we are really grateful to everybody who has spared time to be with us. Our guests of the evening, Dr. Ragini Agarwal, Dr. Preeti Kumar, Dr. Poonam Shivkumar, Dr. Nipa, Dr. Anuradha, and Dr. Sandhya. We got such important inputs, and Dr. Sandhya, because I could connect to you so easily in your first slide, I want to take a pic. Then Deepika ji shared with me, because my daughter, I had same problems with my mother at an age. I used to think, the same points, and then my daughter is recreating the same reel again. And then I tell my husband, this is very normal and natural. At an age you feel, you were so unjustified in your house, nobody can convince you. So we need caretakers like you. So I would like my daughter to talk to you and convince her that your mother is also right partly somewhere. So it was really pleasure, and your slides were really very, very motivating and need of the hour. Dr. Nipa and Dr. Radha, everybody shared their views so well. And really thankful to Anita ma'am and Dr. Alka, Dr. Gagan, and our president, Rewadi of Gynae Society, Dr. Surekha Yadav. And not to forget Dr. Deepika Chhabra, who is always there in full form, full enthusiasm. Your support, we cannot be really grateful in words to you. Thank you so much, Team Jagsonpal. And we hope to have more webinars, because we are just planning that Corona, we have seen it is not only the medical treatment that helps. We were miserable in spite of all medical facilities. There is more to life than just the drugs and medicines. And because we are getting convinced, we are trying to convince others also to go for more holistic approach. And it was really pleasure meeting you, Dr. Sandhya, Dr. Nipa, and Anuradha, Dr. Radha. And in future, yes.
One last word I want to add, Dr. Seema, is that what I spoke about, that to have thought trainers, it's very, very important, that stage of life, because the future of the children, their mental health is so very important. And mental health is taking a backseat. So we have to focus on mental health once again. And every gynecologist, I want them to come forward and have thought trainers, so that every phase, right from conceivement to the couple, right till the baby is born and so on, the thoughts have to be trained, what exactly to think, what are the emotions, etc. Please, this is a humble request that thought trainers have to be there, so that physical and mental both can be taken care of. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandhya. It was really, really pleasure, and it was privilege, and really thankful to Dr. Poonam Shivkumar for making us meet you all. And please take our call when we give you, because we will be needing you more often. Thank you. Anybody has to say anything is most welcome to share, please. Dr. Surekha, Dr. Alka, Dr. Gagan, Anita ma'am, anybody is most welcome. Or we conclude. Over to you, Dr. Deepika, then.
Thank you very much, the esteemed faculty present here and the attendees, all of you with us. Jagsonpal brings to you Lycorate, the cell protector, which provides the required defense to boost the immunity. Cramp-off tablets of magnesium bisglycinate for relief from nocturnal and pregnancy-induced leg cramps. And Narical tablets of calcium citrate malate, vitamin D3, and folic acid. My teammates, Dr. Vipin Tyagi and Mr. Amit Saxena, join me, Dr. Deepika, to thank all of you. And we hope to go a long way in knowledge sharing with your unending support. We hope to see you again in our next webinar, that is tomorrow, Thursday, July 8th, for a case-based discussion on recurrent pregnancy loss, brought to you by our newly launched Pro Retro tablets of Nari division of Jagsonpal. dydrogesterone 10 mg. Do join us tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye. Safe.
Thank you. Bye.